Hi, my name is Rebecca Jenkins. I have over 25 years senior leadership and management experience. And in these videos, I'm sharing techniques and ideas and things that I've learned along the way that will help you to achieve more, to achieve high performance and more success in your career and in your business. In this video, I'm covering the 7 key steps to giving really good feedback. Now, giving feedback is such an important tool because it can really help to improve the performance of your team. And following these 7 steps will enable you to take your feedback to the next level and be able to really encourage your team to perform at that next level too. So the first thing to consider when you're giving feedback is just think about the individual that you're giving that feedback to and how you think they'll respond to that feedback. So just give some consideration to that. Are they a sensitive individual that might not like the feedback, or are they somebody who's very up and enjoys getting feedback? That would just help you to kind of frame your feedback session. The second thing is not to delay. Once you've seen an action or a behaviour that you want to see improved, don't hold back. Don't wait weeks before you give the feedback, by which time you've forgotten a bit about it and they can't remember the event. Do it as quickly as you can, ideally within a day or so, and earlier if you can. But just don't delay. Make sure that you can give that feedback as quickly as possible. The third point to remember or to think about is the environment in which you're going to give that feedback. If you're giving feedback to your team and it's a really positive message to the whole team, maybe they've met some very demanding deadlines and you want to give them all a pat on the back and tell them exactly how well they've done, yes, by all means, you give that in a team environment so everybody gets to hear the same message. And that can be very, very motivating for a team. But if you're giving some critical feedback, you need to an individual whose behaviour or actions need to improve, you must do that in a very in a private location. You must find a meeting room where you won't be disturbed, or nobody else needs to hear or even know about the conversation. So just think about booking a room or booking a space for having that critical one-to-one feedback. The fourth point to remember is to be very specific about the feedback you're giving. So actually think about the behaviour or the action that needs to be changed. So for example, maybe you need to give some feedback to somebody who has arrived late at one of your meetings and they weren't prepared. So that's 2 key points that you need to raise with them. So make it very specific, don't make it generalised. Be very, very clear about the action that you're giving the feedback on. And then when you've done that, when you've got those behaviours clear, you need to give your reasons why that behaviour isn't acceptable. Maybe if it's about them arriving late at a meeting, it delayed the meeting, you kept people waiting, you weren't prepared, so that meant that a project got put back, you couldn't update on various deadlines, and that let the team down and you weren't able to make the progress in the meeting that you had intended to. So you give your reasons as to why it isn't acceptable. But as you see, I've got ×2 on here because it is also important to get their reasons as to why they acted or behaved in this way. Now, you never know, there could be a really genuine reason why they were late for that meeting or why they weren't prepared for it. And if the boot was on the other foot and you were in a meeting with your boss and he or she was giving you some feedback, you would want the opportunity to explain why. So always give the individual the opportunity and the time to say why they behaved or they acted in that way, and listen to their response and you need to respond accordingly. Could be a very genuine reason which you hadn't even considered or didn't know about. So once you've heard their reasons and you've given your reason, you need to be very clear about what the next steps are. So what action is it that they need to take next time to avoid the situation happening again? So it will be, you need to make sure you arrive 5 minutes early for a meeting, that you've read all the points that we're discussing, you've read the reports, and you've actioned your points in preparation for the meeting. So just be very clear and very specific about the action that you want them to take going forward. Once you've done that, this is another really important step is to make sure they buy into that action and they agree to take that action. Because then you're going to monitor it. And if they don't follow through next time and you don't see an improved behaviour once they've agreed, then that's a separate conversation to be had. But you could say something along the lines of, so we've agreed, next time you're going to come prepared and you're going to have read the minutes, and you agree to that, and you get them to nod and say yes, that they agree to taking that action. So those are the very simple, straightforward 7 steps to take. When you do that, you'll be able to give good feedback, good structured feedback that will enable your team to perform at a higher level. And I'd encourage you to give feedback on a day-to-day basis. The more you do it, the more your team just accept that that's what you do as a manager. You give feedback and they'll be more willing to accept it from you. And if you'd like to have this in a PDF format or a note format, you can go to my website at rgen.co.uk and you can download these 7 steps and have them and keep them so that you can refer to them the next time you're giving feedback. So that's it for this video. I hope helping you to achieve more success and high performance in your career and in your business.